Hey, Eric Bykowski here, Fenwick College angler from Carnegie Mellon University, here on beautiful Lake Murray, South Carolina with your Fenwick Pro Tip of the Day. Now during the winter months, a lot of dammed lakes and reservoirs can actually be drawn down about 6 to 10 feet by the controlling agency in order for work to be done on the dam or the docks and in order to kill off some of the weed growth that's built up over the summer. Now this can put a bit of a damper on bass fishing, but I actually like to use this time in order to go around and scout the lake for areas that are going to hold fish once the water comes back up. Now one of my favorite things to look for when I'm scouting for cover are downed trees on the bank. Now this tree right here is actually a perfect example of what I'm looking for. First of all, it's on a pretty steep slope, but the top of the tree is still exposed above the water when it comes all the way up. So you're going to have a large area of water between the top of that tree and the ground where the bass are going to be able to hide. Furthermore, it's got a lot of these little branches that go down into the water, so there's going to be plenty of room and structure for those bass to hide around, and the bass are really going to relate well to this tree. On the other hand, a tree like this one really isn't going to be as likely to hold bass just because it's so flat, doesn't have as many branches coming off of it, but you might not be able to tell that when you're out in the water fishing because most of it is going to be submerged. It's also a good idea to get a sense of where creek beds run when the water is at full height. Now you can do this out in the water with a fish finder or with side scan technology, but having that first-hand kind of idea of where the creek is and where the deepest parts of that area are, it's really going to give you an advantage when you're out in the water fishing. Now one of the really cool things about scouting out here when there's such a low lake level is that you can find places you had no idea existed. Right now I'm standing on an island pretty much in the middle of Lake Murray, and it's about a foot underwater, but a few days ago I was able to see it because it was actually above the water since the water's come up a little more. But if I hadn't come out here and scouted beforehand when the water was down, I would have had no idea about this. And when the water goes up, it's still got to go up about another 5 to 6 feet. I'm going to know exactly where this is. I know what the bottom composition is. It's pretty rocky and there's some stumps over to the side. And I'll be able to find the bass here when they are here. So that's just a really cool advantage to finding these areas. And right now I'm actually about 400 to 500 yards offshore in the middle of Lake Murray. So really doesn't get any better than this. Make sure you go out and scout when the lake level's down. Alright, now finally, a few useful things that you're going to want to have when you come out here. First of all, a smartphone GPS tracker. I just use Google Maps app, and I'm able to pinpoint any location that I find out here based on my current location, and that's really going to be helpful when I go back out and want to find that location again in the spring. I'm not going to be guessing where it is if it's underwater, and I'll be able to get right on that and catch some fish. Another thing I like to have is a kayak. Now, you don't need a kayak out here, but it can really save you a lot of time not having to walk around the bank in order to get to that spot. Finally, now this might seem obvious, but I always like to bring my Fenwick with me. And that's just in case I get the hankering to go fishing, I see a splash or something, and today I actually did see a splash and I was able to get into a 20-inch striper on my very first cast. And this is the Fenwick Eagle, brand new, coming out for 2014, as well as my Fluger Supreme. And these guys handled that perfectly, and I'm just glad I brought them today because I wasn't planning on fishing, don't even have my tackle box. But with Fenwick, you're always going to feel the action.